Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of the Coach's Show. The coach with me today is Brian Gillespie, the girls basketball coach here at Piqua High School. Coach, it's your show and we appreciate you coming on and taking the time to do this. I know your schedule's really busy and not living close by, it makes it kind of tough to get here for both of us sometimes, but I want to thank you for taking the time to be here. And I also want to thank our sponsor, First Choice Paint and Body Shop. We appreciate their donation to WOTBC Channel 5. If you have a ding on your car, you just need it fixed, or somebody decided to try to run over you and you need it all put back together, go see First Choice Paint and Body Shop on North 25A here in Piqua, Ohio. Coach, let's talk a little bit about what your girls have been doing. You're 4-11 on the season. Excuse me. And if you take a look at some of the games, you've had 3 games where you've actually been in the loss column by an average of 6 points. So that means you could be 7-8 right now, and maybe even better than that.
You know, I mean, I'm not a guy that makes excuses, but we've had a couple tough issues with injuries and things like that, and that's put us, kids not being at a game or something along those lines. So it's put us behind the 8 ball a little bit and made it a little bit more difficult. But consistent basketball is what we're striving for, and I think we're headed in that direction.
Well, you know, if you lose one of your starters, like you lost Tasha Potts now for like 3, maybe 4 games, I think she's coming back this Wednesday to play a little bit against Troy. When you lose a senior like that, you don't have a whole lot of depth to go to anyway, so you've got to bring up some really young people.
You know, and it's funny you mention that, because when it happened, it was a little bit devastating to the team initially. Mm-hmm. But I think what it did was, although you don't like to lose a player, you don't like to lose a great player like Tasha either, but when you lose a kid, it makes other people reevaluate, and it makes me reevaluate, and kind of forces people to step up. And for the future, that might not have been such a bad thing, because we've had a shuffling of the deck a little bit, and we've had kids step up a little bit, and we're getting more comfortable and playing at the varsity level for some of the younger kids. And we're trying to build a program here, and the seniors are doing a pretty good job of leading us, but it helps to have some of those kids have to step up and kind of step to the forefront a little bit, and they've done that recently. So. Well,
you talk about your bench. You got Michaela has come off your bench and scored well for you. Chloe Clark has come off the bench and scored for you. Your last 2 games, your bench has accounted for 16 points in each of those 2 games.
And early in the year, we got minimal to no bench support, which really hurt us early, and that's partially because people were still getting comfortable in the roles, and I don't think they were comfortable at that point. And again, we've had Michaela Schaffner, and we've had Maddie Kurtner came in, hit 3 big threes against Troy in our win on Wednesday. Okay, those were kids that weren't ready earlier this year necessarily, but they've really kind of seen the light a little bit and understand, okay, now it's my chance, and I tell them all the time, if you can help me, you'll be out there. So.
Yeah. Well, you take a look at the conference standing on the north for the GWAC, and you got Sydney sitting there on top at 5-0. Butler's behind them with 3-1. Trotwood then at 3-2. Greenville's 1-3. Piqua is 1-4, and so is Troy. It doesn't get any easier for you as you go down the road after the Troy win, which is that's one of those games. It's like Troy. It's like Sydney. Those are rivalry games. Records don't count when you go into those gyms to play those, do they?
Yeah, I mean, both of us, it was a battle, and it was fun to be a part of. I mean, it's a long-standing rivalry. I mean, I think it's 116 years, which is pretty impressive and pretty crazy. And anytime you go into that game, whether you're 0-16 or 16-0, it doesn't really matter. And I think both sides really wanted that one, and we got that one, and that was one to build on. And I told the girls that all the time, 1's good, 2's even better,
yeah,
and 3's called a winning streak.
Yep, that's right.
So
38-29 was the score in that Troy game. That was at Troy. No, I was at here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was here at Piqua, and then prior to that, the Meadowdale game, 57-44. That's always a tough game.
They have a couple guards there that were probably 2 of the best guards we've seen all year. The girls could just flat out shoot it really well, and they were tough. And we were there. We were within 5 in the fourth quarter, and we just couldn't get quite enough buckets to get over the top. But again, this is a group of kids that are, and that game was without Tasha, and it's a group of kids that are evolving right in front of my eyes, and it's a good thing to see for the future. So.
Well, you didn't have Tasha in that Greenville game either, and they got their only win of the season, 49-43. She's averaging 12 points a ball game. There's your difference.
Well, that as well as Kayla. So that we were out about 22 points a game that day, and but again, no excuses. But again, it was a point where kids are trying to learn how to be on the floor together and not look at other people to score. And I think some of them are doing a better job at that now. They're not waiting for someone else to do it. They're doing it themselves. So.
You know, when you're not playing as well as you think you should, you don't have the depth that you think you should have, and then you come off of a rivalry game like Troy here at home and win that one by 9, and it's a battle from the beginning to the end. And then you take a look at what you got coming up. You got Trotwood coming in here 9-4 on the season, and then that's on Wednesday. Then on Saturday you go up to Sydney and play them. They're 12-1 on the season, and then you got Fairborn at Fairborn. They're 7-6. You don't get into anybody that's really got a bad record until Wednesday the 4th. Greenville comes in here, and their only win again is the one they had over us.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we got a tough little stretch here, but I'm ready for the challenge. I think our girls are ready for the challenge. I think we're ready to really turn the page and have a nice stretch run here. And I think no matter who we play, I think now that we've kind of built that little bit of confidence, I think we can stick with all these teams, and we're not going to be an easy out for us. So.
Yeah, you've talked a little bit about and things I've read in the paper. You've talked a little bit about your club kind of coming together as a team, and maybe you're talking about just not the first 5 being out there or the next 5 that's on the floor playing, but I'm sure you're talking about the whole group. Tell us a little bit about what you're seeing there.
Well, I'm just stressing to them enthusiasm is what makes the difference, and everybody from the person on the court, first 5 on the court, all the way to the person on the end of the bench, everybody's important, and it doesn't matter who you are. You got to be on board with one goal, and that one goal is we're going for a victory. And I think that has made a big difference. The kids are, you know, the buy-in is there more so than it has all year. Yeah. And I think the buy-in is what will get us to another level in the future.
Well, Coach Butler and I talked during his show a couple days ago about what it's like for someone to come off the bench, having sat there for maybe almost a full quarter. I haven't been on the floor doing anything physical since the warm-ups, and now you got to go out there and spell somebody for the last 30 or 45 seconds in a ball game, and you got to be ready to do that. And that person who comes off that bench and is physically and more so mentally ready to do that is a real asset.
Yeah, I really think that again, that's one that goes back to when we were in the first part of the year. You know, there was 5, and we were playing a lot of minutes, and it's a trust factor with me. And once I can trust you, then you can go out there and do things. And it's about everything. It's defense, offense. You know, everybody plays a role, and I want them all to know that they're all important. And the end result will only happen in a positive way if everybody's on board. So.
Well, and then we talked earlier about the individual players. Tasha averaging just under 12 points a game, and Kayla averaging just under 10 points a game. But it drops off pretty good after that, with Franny at just under 5 a game, Morgan at 4 a game, and then Chloe Clark is next in line behind those starters at 3.3, and then Carly Brown at 2.6.
Yes, I mean, Chloe's done a nice job since she's been up on varsity and helping us help us as a post. She started some games for us. She came right up from JV and actually almost started a game later, which is just kind of the situation we were in.
Yeah.
And she got thrown in the mix, and she's done a nice job of hanging in there. And it's a learning curve for all the younger kids, and she's really given us a lift.
One thing that has to be a challenge for you is the fact you're averaging almost 17 turnovers a ball game. What's an acceptable number besides 0?
Well, I would say it's fair to think 9 or 10. 9 or 10 is probably a fair number. If you a good number, if you're looking at a winning basketball team. If you average 8 to 9 turnovers a game, you're probably in pretty good shape. And we need to pare that down. And make good decisions. And sometimes we rush the ball a little bit, and we rush into things and unforced errors. So.
Do you have a younger player on the bench that you're seeing as a starting guard maybe next year who's got the ability to really handle the press and be able to come up the floor on their own?
Well, we have some kids that are in the process of learning how to do that, and I think they can help me next year. And there's Kelsey Magato and Maddie Kurtner are both two of those people, but there are certainly some kids along the way that we're going to give a good look at. So,
a couple of the numbers that I like to look at, especially when you get later in the season, to see how you're doing. 54% from the free throw line. I don't think you think that's a good number. I'm sure you don't. And then from the three-point area, just 21%.
Yeah, we don't shoot a lot of threes. We don't have a ton of kids that love to shoot the three and that have that extended range. But there are some kids that are willing to put it up once in a while, and we've gotten a little bit better at that as we've gone along. But early in the season we barely shot any. But I think there's some kids on the team that understand that I want people to be confident and catch the ball and shoot, and when you get an open look. And I think they can make more than that percentage. We just didn't believe in ourselves necessarily. And a lot of it's believing and willingness to step up and take that shot. So.
Well, like I said, we got a game here Wednesday night. This is Monday, the 26th of January. We're doing this game. If you get this on the air on Channel 5 before Wednesday, come on out here and watch them play Trotwood. That should be a pretty interesting ball game. As I said, Trotwood's 9-4 on the season. That record's a little bit misleading, I don't think, based upon everything that I've seen and know about Trotwood this year. I don't think they're that good at 9-4. And then Sydney, going to be up at Sydney on Saturday the 31st, 12-1 Sydney. They'll have a game or two between now and then also, so it'll be interesting to see what their record is. But then after that, Coach, you're looking at 5 games before the tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be boom, 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 quick, and before you know it, the regular season will be over. And I talked to the girls about building momentum heading into a tournament, and let's go get one this year, and that would be a huge step for this program. And I think we got a chance. We got to win some before the tournament to kind of put ourselves in the right spot seeding wise, so that we don't have to end up with no choice at all in the matter. Right. So. Well,
after Sydney, you got Fairborn, Greenville, Stebbins, Butler, and Troy. Fairborn's got a 50 or 500 average right now at 7-6. Greenville, as we mentioned earlier, 1-14. Then you got Stebbins. I have no idea how they're doing this year.
They're a little below 500, but they're still a solid team.
Well, then Butler's 9-5, and then you've got Troy at Troy. The last game of the season, they're 3-11. So, really, Fairborn and Butler are the two teams you got to be concerned about. If you could knock off Stebbins, Butler, and Troy, and go into the tournament with a 3-game winning streak, you'd be thrilled to death, wouldn't you?
Oh, that would be good news for sure. I would love to win those 3, and I'll tell you what, Butler's tough. They just beat Trotwood the other day, and those would be a handful. But I just want us to have some positive momentum going forward and going into that tournament run. So that's an exciting time of year.
Momentum equals attitude. Good attitude equals wins, and that's what you're trying to get, is the kids that get the attitude that they know how to win, they can win, and if they come off of even if they win 2 of the last 3, that's pretty good for them, and that makes them feel good, and it makes your job a lot easier to coach them during a tournament game too. So,
sure.
Coach, anything else you want to add tonight?
Nope, we're excited. We got 6 or 7 more games, and that's going to be a great time, and I'm looking forward to the tournament.
All right. Well, listen, thanks for being with us. Again, we want to thank our sponsor, First Choice Paint and Body Shop, for their donation to WOTVC Channel 5. And we encourage you, if you have anything to do with your car, needs fixed on it, just take it out to North 25A, First Choice Paint and Body Shop. You can't miss them on the left-hand side as you're going out of town. And we want to thank them for their sponsorship. We want to thank you for watching and encourage you to come out to Piqua High School and watch the girls basketball game this Wednesday night against Trotwood, and then Saturday drive on up to Sydney and watch them play the Yellow Jackets up there, and hopefully we'll come out of this with 2 wins. So you take care. We'll see you next time.